Hi, this is Eric Wu with Accelerate Capital, and welcome back to another episode of Who's Your Agent? In today's episode, we have
Tammie Acosta with Maazda Realty in Brea, California.
So Tammie, we all want to find out first and foremost, what made you decide you want to get into real estate in the first place?
Oh geez, that's a totally loaded question. So when I was a kid, 12 years old or so, my grandfather had passed away and left property to my sisters and I. And the trust was gonna sell it as is, and we just decided heck no, so we got in there and fixed it up and we sold it. And years later I saved that little tiny inheritance, and when I was in my 20s put it on my first house in La Mirada right here, and I was able to do a live and flip in that house in less than 2 years, and I made a good return on it. And so I've been bit by the bug since I was a kid.
Very cool. So before you even became a realtor, you already got some experience in the real estate at a relatively young age.
Absolutely. I've been following the rate trends from the 1980s. I can quote you on them if you ask me.
So Tammie, before making the transition to real estate, what was your profession beforehand?
Okay, so interesting because it kind of ties into real estate in a way. So as a kid, I was 18 years old managing a Standard Brands paint company. And after that, I was a manager at Home Depot. So that, being in the construction industry and my parents having a business like that, it allows me to walk into a house and like totally assess it and say like, oh, you could totally redo this or do that. I could see through like some things that aren't as pretty. So I think that background gives me a really good advantage. And plus I've, remodeled my own houses before too.
Definitely helps. So your previous profession indirectly has some ties in with the real estate.
Yeah, a lot of realtors, sometimes they look at houses and they're like, oh, it's gonna cost too much to do this, it's gonna cost too much. And I'm like, heck no, it's like $3 grand for this, or let's call this guy. And you just gotta make it work. You have to look for the diamond in the rough. And I love doing that.
As with many realtors out there, they have their own strength and specialties. In your case, what made you stand out among the other realtors?
Okay, that's an easy question for me because basically I have been living and working in La Mirada in this area for the past, I've been living here for 20 years, been working here for 15 years in this very community, and I have a moral and ethical obligation to everybody I work with. I would never steer somebody wrong. I want to do the best for them. My son's here, my mom's here, my family's all here. This is my family. I can't do them wrong.
All right, so far we learned the real estate side of Tammie, but let's learn about the other side. In terms of, what do you like to do for enjoyment? Tammie, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I really love spending as much time as I can with my son, but at 19, he doesn't want to spend that much time with mom. So aside from that, I love a good two-step dancing, country dancing, at a honky-tonk, and then on the golf course. So totally opposite spectrums, but that is where I love to be, either place. Give me a dance floor with a wooden floor or a golf course on the green.
Honky-tonk, two-step dancing. You gotta show me how to do that.
I will, I'll bring you a hat too.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Deal?
All right. So Tammie, for the home buyers out there, what are some of the key advice you would have for them?
Okay, that's a great question. So having purchased 3 houses myself and also helping a lot of people, I think the best advice always is to choose your neighborhood. You need to fall in love with your neighborhood just as much as you fall in love with a house. So that means going and checking out that house in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and on the weekends, because ultimately that's where you're gonna be. And your neighbors often become like your family.
Yes, absolutely. Your environment, your neighborhood, just as important as the house itself. Absolutely.
Right. So when you buy a house, you might think that the neighbors might not live there forever, but you never know.
So just want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Who's Your Agent? Well, today we get to learn about Tammie Acosta. And remember, for any La Mirada or surrounding real estate needs, whether it's buying or selling a home, you can reach out to her. And how can they do that?
Awesome, you guys can find my information right down below. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
All right, very good. That's it for today's show. And for any finance or mortgage needs, you can reach out to me.
Eric Wu, guys. See you later.